You know I got to say something. Hey,
welcome to the show.
That's
Black
right.
Republican, Black Democrat. I'm A.K. Kamara.
I'm John Martin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And who's this funky man over here? Boots
John.
Collins.
Cause I got deodorant on. You meant me, Jamar.
Yeah.
Jamar, I'm Jamar Nelson. Smart Democrat and the co-host Jamar Nelson.
Hey,
How you gentlemen doing?
All right.
Good evening, fellas.
What up?
Man, welcome to the show, everybody. Man,
yeah.
Good to see everybody.
I am dressed today.
Nigga, where you been to Zamunda?
Oh, no. Yes.
Zamunda.
Holy.
Good God almighty.
Oh, yes.
I just looked at your attire.
From?
What you selling? What you got in your pockets? Bean pies?
Well, you know what? I should have some bean pie. It was too hot today.
So you put on a hot ass
Show did. Yep.
The Shiki.
No, I'm looking at the damn thermal shirt you got.
Thermal shirt.
Yeah. You know, hey, the AC in the car was kind of a little cool. You know,
And the dashiki.
Yes. But the weather been real hot today.
Well, anytime you go to Zamunda and Wakanda, I'm sure it is hot.
Yeah, and I was just telling my co-host in the back.
I didn't see you today. You just getting off on the motherland.
I just seen you in the back room, and I just said, you know what? It was so hot today. I ain't see no squirrels. The birds went in the sky.
You just said you didn't see the birds doing. What were they doing?
Tweaking.
Birds don't tweak.
Well.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Every time I'm happy to be back, I just get so excited. You know, there's something that runs.
You get excited or excited?
Hey.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. No, I'm glad that you guys all are here. You know, honestly, we need a daily show or a nightly show because this is on the evening time. So a nightly show because so much happens and from week to week so much goes on and
a lot of stuff happens.
A lot of stuff happens and you want to just catch it right then and there, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen. So that's why we text each other and go through the different topics and what we're going to talk about. But as things happen, you want a camera right then and there. I know I could just sit there in my basement and say, "Welcome to the show."
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the elephant in the room tonight is the fact that Representative John Thompson is incredibly bold and defiant in saying that he is not going to resign. The whole Democrat Party or leadership, most have called for his resignation, and as well as some whack-ass Republicans. But he's again refused to resign, and as well as he shouldn't. And full disclosure, I'm pretty close to the situation. I can't sit here and do a lot of fronting like I don't know intricate details and things of that nature. But so some of this is speaking from my heart, and some of it just speaking as a Democrat. I've always been a proud Democrat, right?
Yeah.
I swear to goodness, man. I think anybody knows that, right?
You wear it on your chest. The big D on your chest.
I don't think anybody can say Jamar is not a Democrat.
Yes,
I don't think so, right? Thank you. But I'm incredibly shocked and hurt what I've seen from the party. I don't like to scream racism about everything, right? Especially when I don't see it. I try to seriously look through things through a rose-colored lens, right? Like, okay, I'm going to give these people the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. Bro, what I've seen, though, conducted with John, to me, was virtual and was a virtual lynching to me. I think the way they attacked the brother over something that happened 18 years ago, to me, is crazy. Because if we're going back that far, especially when you knew it last year before you ran, you knew all these details now. Don't tell me you didn't, especially the big wigs. You knew this. You didn't ask him to step aside. And we also know, anyone that knows Ken Martin knows that Ken Martin is intricately involved in Democratic politics. Mm-hmm. All right? So you knew this, but you didn't ask him to step down or not to run. He got the endorsement. That's why I enjoyed the endorsement process that we were involved in last year than versus this year, because the people give it to you. This virtual crap, I know we all didn't like both parties. But what I seen from my party was disgusting. You knew that these men had these accusations, and you said nothing. You did nothing because you wanted to advance our agenda because it was convenient for you. It's convenient for your leadership role. Democrats go in on a big wave. I win, we win, right? And so, again, these allegations allegedly happened 18 years ago and 13 years ago. And he wasn't convicted of them. And you asked him to resign instead of calling him into your office, having a talk with him, asking him, did it happen?
Well, the man.
So I guess here's, the thing that I see more than anything. So I think that certain aspects people take for granted. Like when you say that the bigwigs knew about, these criminal complaints from the past and these police reports or whatever, I guess unless they come out and say that they did specifically know about those specific cases, I think that that's a little bit harder. The other thing, too, let's be very honest. This is a slam dunk district for the DFL, right? Whoever is on that ballot that's got the D on their name is going to win that district 70, 75%, 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes more than that, but it hasn't been held by a Republican in a very long time, that district.
23 years.
Right. And so for me, I don't necessarily think that it's that people knew as much about it. Maybe there's some folks that did. I know that Alpha News, they had done some reporting last year before the general, and they had brought up, screenshots from texts, from like Facebook arguments between John and his wife. At the time, I don't think they were married, but this was from like 8 years ago or something like that. And they had put some stuff out there. And so I do agree that some of that stuff was out there about questions that come back and say, hey, what was this really about? You know what I'm saying? Like what was the context and everything like that. But here's my biggest thing, Jamar. I don't like whoever is telling John to talk the way that he's talking and go about the way that they're going about it. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it, it has nothing to do with Republican or Democrat. The reason I don't like it is because what I'm not hearing is, I did this, I'm sorry, I've moved on, I'm a changed man. What I'm hearing is, well, things happen, both sides kind of did something, with his wife coming out and saying what she said at the press conference. To me, I think it does a net negative that it comes out and it's like basically what I heard during that press conference and what I've seen in these different news reports is that his wife is basically saying, I'm partially at fault for this. And I don't think that that's a good message to put forward. I think that the best thing for him to do, stepping down or not, I think he should, but I think that more than anything, he should be real. He should have came out and he should have said, listen, I'm a changed man. Yes, this happened 12 years ago. Yes, this happened 18 years ago, but I'm a changed man. What I did was wrong. But that's not what they're doing. They're saying that it's basically like explaining away that, hey, we were heated. And she said, I have some demons, at the time that I was working through, and I didn't realize so I went to therapy and yada, yada, yada. That's what she said in press conference. But to me, that's justifying, man.
Well,
I don't like that.
I think you kind of missed the ideal of it. But we've had the producer pull up a few. Let's listen to a few seconds of some of, I call it the First Lady of the East Side of her press conference.
Lawmakers have asked Thompson to step down because of past accusations of domestic abuse. But Thompson's wife, who was the alleged victim in several complaints, says none of it is true. Here's Esme Murphy.
I will not remain silent, and I will not be resigning.
Among Representative John Thompson's supporters, his wife, who says claims in old charging documents are not true.
I am not now, nor have I ever been an abused woman. I am not a victim of domestic abuse.
Thompson has never been convicted on any domestic abuse allegations, all of which are at least 10 years old. St. Paul City Council member Nelsie Yang spoke.
Honestly, we need more folks like John in office.
as did Valerie Castile, the mother of Philando Castile, who was shot and killed during a 2016 traffic stop by St. Anthony police.
I
we
think that
support Representative John Thompson.
The press conference was interrupted by a woman with a Trump flag.
But you guys see this? Do you guys see this?
That's the hate I receive.
She drove in circles on the Capitol lawn.
Look, when are the police gonna do something?
She was eventually taken into custody with bystanders yelling a black person would have been treated far more harshly.
She didn't even have handcuffs. I wish I would have.
As for Thompson, Speaker Alyssa Hortman said again she believes he should resign and that an ethics committee probe would begin when the criminal cases are over. The House Speaker's office says the only criminal case that remains open.
So I think that knowing black culture and being a part I think talking about domestic violence and not being a little candid, it's kind of hard. It's hard not to be candid about some of the things that I've done in the past, right? Being a person that a former batterer, I've been involved in domestic incidents with ex-wife. So I think that you've got to put yourself in her shoes and understand. See, that is someone being real, explaining, saying that, look, he's not at all the fault for it when I either instigated it or he didn't do it, because I heard her say those things too. And to me, it bothers me when I hear when other women say that, when she said that she's not a victim of domestic violence, say that that's the classic battered wife syndrome, when it is not.
Well, I just think that he should just. I think it was an incident, not like this one, but similar to what Attorney General Keith Ellison was going through. When he ran and they brought up allegations before that, he made a statement and a comment, and his wife came out and the kids. It was the same thing, wife and statement. But I think that John May can survive if he just keep quiet. I mean, because
but you can't. Here's the thing: you guys keep saying.
I know he got to keep on saying it, but they want him to keep talking, and the more you keep on talking, and they keep burying himself. Keith Ellison just made a statement, and that was it. He went back. It was just it, because he already knew that the more you draw attention on this, it'd be more attention on actually him. And then he feed, because they want him to feed them information.
No, so listen. I think the media is not or the media or certain people that dislike him are not accepting of what he said, of what his wife said. I think the press conference was a good idea, because I think his wife needed to speak, and women needed to hear the things that she said. Let's remember too, his constituency isn't a bunch of hoity-toity white folks. You know, his constituents look like him, black and brown, that either have gone or is going through some of the same incidents, whether it's the license situation. Because guess what? As a black man that's had his license taken away from child support arrears, when I'm taking great care of my kids, because child support can be used as a weapon. That's what a lot of times it's used. It's weaponized, and the courts allow that. Mm-hmm. And so it takes away a man's license. And so how is he supposed to feed his family? He wants to go to work. Well, you can't. I mean, I ain't catching the damn bus. I'm getting in my car that's outside, and I'm going to work. But then you get ticket after ticket, which puts you further and further. Now you're in the hole with arrears, and you're also now in the holes with tickets, which the system wants, because now you're $3,000, $4,000, $10,000, $12,000 in the hole. So your license are stripped both ways. What's a guy supposed to do? I think that when couples go through this, especially political couples, and they don't get out in front of it, it's those people that sometimes aren't accepting of what happens, period. And that's okay. That comes with the territory. But when folks speak their truths, we got to accept it. And he did accept responsibility. Let's remember, him and the cop simultaneously, accidentally bumped into each other. They both spoke. They both apologized to each other. He did accept responsibility for his license. He did accept responsibility for some of the things that him and his wife said. Look, 17, 20 years ago, none of us were the same person.
No, I ask you a question. If this would have been a Republican, if this would have been a Republican, I think every Democrat would have been wanting his head. I think they would have been.
Yeah, I think it would have been the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that they would have been marching. They wouldn't ask him to resign. They would have had more things to actually say.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I'm kind of shocked that nobody. I mean, everybody from his party want him to resign.
So I think though I want to circle back and I want to say two specific things. So in that press conference and based off of what you're saying, Jamar, I think that when she says I'm not a victim of domestic violence and I have never been abused, what she's not saying is that these specific things never happen. What she's saying is that I am culpable for some of this, and I think that's the wrong message to send. People can say whatever they want to say, but my best friend has had a history of being an abuser. And I have never once defended his poor actions to anybody. If anybody says, his ex-wife, she kind of pushed his buttons, I'll say, nah, listen, you don't have the right to put your hands on another person, especially if they are your spouse. You don't have your right to put your hands on other people. And if you got anger issues and stuff you got to work out, it doesn't mean that you're forever condemned or that you're an evil person. But I think you have to take accountability. And I think that the problem is that the things that John stands for in the policies of the people that support him, they see that he is such a valuable player to that cause. If John is not in office, who do you have that's really at the forefront of these issues that these constituents want him in? And so I think that they are willing to, in a way, give him a pass, and I don't think that's healthy because
why?
Listen, if I'm a young brother, I'm a young brother.
If they're going
right?
through the same thing or been through the same thing, why isn't it that it's not a pass? Why isn't it
a pass?
It's not
man.
a pass.
Yes,
why
it
isn't it saying that? Listen, I've been through that. I'm not going to condemn you for having an issue, some type or an incident with your spouse. You're not to be life condemned,
of course,
or I'm not supposed to kick you out of the office because it's convenient, politically convenient for me. That's why his constituents. And here's the other thing. This is what you and everyone has missed. It is not his constituents that's called for his seat.
I agree.
It is the powers that be. His constituents have given him full support, and that's the difference. Guess why? Because he's accepted responsibility, and guess what? They have gone through, or going through, or will go through what him and his wife are going.
But he hasn't accepted responsibility.
No, he absolutely did.
When it comes to the domestic stuff, he has not.
He did.
What he's done is he's hid behind and said, "Listen, talk to my wife. She's going to tell you what happened."
Why shouldn't she be the one to tell the truth?
You got a young brother sitting at home, and he's like, "Yo, look, his wife stood by her man." And basically,
that's why y'all hate Hillary Clinton.
What she's basically
that's why y'all hate Hillary Clinton.
Is, hey, she had some culpability.
That's why y'all hate.
She probably pushed his button. She probably slapped him once, and then he hit her back.
When you're,
and that's basically
give me
what
one
she's
second.
saying.
Give me one second. So let me ask you a question. You're married.
She doesn't view this.
You're married. I have been twice.
Yeah.
When you and your wife are arguing, and you guys are talking about it later, or talking about it during the discussion, do you ask your wife to accept responsibility for what she did or what she said to you that pissed you off? You didn't hit her, but do you ask her for whatever you're angry with her about? Do you ask her to take responsibility for that? Do you expect her to take responsibility for whatever? Let's say y'all talking about infidelity. I don't know, and
sure.
Whatever, right? Do you expect her to take responsibility for her part that she took in whatever the situation is that caused the rift? You accept it? Okay.
So if there was ever an
Your
issue,
Your Honor, I rest my case.
If there was an issue, I would say, listen, the best thing that you can do is take responsibility, and then it's up to me, the person that you are apologizing to decide if I'm going to take it or not, because I can't control what it is you want to do. And so I think we're mixing two things. I'm not trying to say that his wife can't, take an apology or that they haven't mended things, because they obviously have if they're still together, right? What I'm saying is that as a leader, as someone that is elected, he is setting a bad example, and she is setting a bad example by allowing this type of behavior to exist as long as the ends justify the means. And that's just the truth. I think that John has a history of doing things in which he lets anger cloud his judgment. When he came to my town and when he said, we're going to burn down the city of Hugo, I think that was wrong. I don't really care so much that if he was super riled up. There's certain things that elected officials have to be held to. And
absolutely, there's a certain decorum.
If we're talking about man on the street, homies, me and you outside, just hanging out, different standard. But we're talking about elected officials, man.
You're right, and I'm gonna say this so we can pay some bills. let's talk about the here and now. Tell me what he's done here and now that is so egregious that you're asking him to step out of office. John?
All right. Well,
okay. Back to me. Jamar? All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're sitting at home tonight and you need eggs, bacon, cheese, or earplugs, as John's on.
The egg roll queen. That's right. Patronize them. Good food.
That's not where you go. That's not where you go if you need those items.
Those things.
Good
you go to the
food.
Weber Mart.
Yes, the Weber Mart.
I'm sorry about that. Weber Market. Up there, 1701 44th Avenue North. You can go in there for hot coffee, fresh products, produce, and they even have a Western Union in there. You ain't got to run down to
Western.
You ain't got to run down to the Broadway.
Now you could probably go to Weber Mart and you could probably get some eggs and attempt to make your own egg rolls, but don't do that. Don't do that. Instead, go ahead and pick up that phone and give a call to the Egg Roll Queen.
That's right.
They have a lot of specialty egg rolls made to order. They have huge egg rolls, so make sure that you check out the Egg Roll Queen and get all of your egg roll needs.
Yep.
That's
Egg Roll
right.
Queen. They have live music, and one day we'll go down there and do a live show from there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to us, or if you miss it tonight, and you want to listen to it tomorrow, AK, can you tell me where you might can find the show?
You're going to go to anchor.fm/BRBD, and you'll be able to actually listen to the audio. We're on Spotify. I just think the easiest way to find us is to go to anchor.fm/BRBD, and then you can click on the link through Spotify, and then you can save it, and then you'll be able to follow it. That's right. The best way. Also, Google Podcasts, Podbeam. There's a few other Spreaker, things like that that we are able to advertise the show on, and you'll be able to listen to our podcast after the fact.
And if you want to contribute and give a few dollars to us, you may go to patreon.com.
That's right. Go to patreon.com/BRBD. Make a donation. Make a donation. Hey, I challenge everyone tonight to make a $20 donation. $20 donation tonight.
Good challenge.
20 tonight.
Patreon.com/BRBD. Patreon.com/BRBD.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight. Yes, sir.
But getting back to John, I want to ask if the police would have not, since everybody said he came out, he was honest about it. He was so much. If the police wouldn't have not pulled him over, he would have came out on his own and been honest with it, or it had to take that to get him to come out.
Well, the reason we know about it is because he was honest about it. That's why. But again, profiling black men is something that could turn deadly.
Well, white men get profiled too.
Sure they do. And
Native
I think
American.
the crime though is incredibly serious. Gun crime specifically is growing exponentially in both sides of the city. Minneapolis is at 52 murders already.
You know, I think 43 of them are. A gun was used in the murder.
You know what?
Absolutely.
I was just sitting down today. I was thinking. I was counting the wards we got. Ward 1, crime free. What's that going on? Ward 2, Ward 3. I just think they have problems with Ward. Something about Ward 5. I mean, I don't know Ward 5 and the ward over south, and I think it's just three wards throughout the whole city council that they have problems with. I think. I never heard problems in the first war. Have you?
Well, the fact that gun crime is growing is one of the reasons why we invited tonight's guest on. Since you keep stepping on my goddamn toes, I just Jesus. No, tonight's guests are gun enthusiasts, right? Because I think what is a huge elephant, the pink elephant in the room, is crime involving guns. Black on black crime. I know a lot of folks don't like to hear that, involving gun crime. And so tonight we're going to have on Maj Toure, who is a national gun enthusiast, and as well as Daniel Ward, who's on the screen with us now, who is the guy that trained me. So watch out, boy. Okay.
Oh,
this guy is who trained me.
You?
Yeah, absolutely.
You sure it's not a BB gun?
My whole family. Yeah. Well, no. Watch. Keep it up then.
BB
You'll see. Let me shoot you in the ass then.
The water gun.
Tonight, our guest is Daniel Ward. Daniel, welcome to the show, my man. How are you?
Doing great.
Good, man. This is John. This is Daniel.
Hey, Mr. Daniel.
And AK.
How you doing there, John?
I'm feeling great.
Okay?
How you doing?
Let's get right to it.
Excellent.
Look, as we're talking, gun crime is growing and involving well, across the nation, period, just not involving black folks, but involving crime. Seems like the last year, 18 months, gun crime has grown exponentially, as I said. Why is it, and look, why is it important for black folks to own a weapon?
Well, you
Or
can't
is it
be
important for
free
white folks to,
if you cannot
black folks to
protect
own one?
what you own.
Right?
Bottom line.
Yeah.
So if we claim that we are free men, we need to be able to protect that which is free, being ourselves, our property, our families, and our community. Bottom line.
Do you think that that all the time, a lot of time, it boils down to gun control or gun safety? Don't you think and believe that right now guns are too readily accessible to criminals?
To criminals, yes. To common folks, no.
What do you mean?
You've got all kinds of laws. You've got all kinds of ordinances that go back years. When we talk about gun control, there were laws that were initiated called the Black Codes, and slaves were prohibited from owning guns. We in our own community, we have a lot of people that have been brainwashed and have drunk the whole gallon of Kool-Aid that black people shouldn't have guns. We've got pastors, we've got a lot of different churches and nonprofits that feel that, oh, you shouldn't have a gun. If you've got a gun, you're bad. You shouldn't be able to protect yourself. That's a basic human right. If I come and punch you in the nose, okay, AK, you seem like a pretty big guy.
Yep.
I don't think that you would allow just anybody coming and just smacking you upside the head.
Sure
without
would.
some form of retaliation.
Well,
That's right.
he got to turn the other cheek, like Dr. King said. He got to turn the other cheek. That's it. That's all. He just got to accept that slap and just say, "I love you, my brother."
Yeah, no,
Well, even Dr. King was prohibited from owning a firearm multiple times, and there was a whole group of people called the Deacons of Justice that protected King's home. That were deacons that had firearms, that had carry permits, and King's residence was firebombed. King's residence was harassed multiple times, and without the Deacons of Justice, I doubt if Dr. King would have survived, nor would his family. So when we talk about firearms and we talk about freedom and we talk about being able to protect ourselves, we got to arm ourselves and we have to protect our own community. And that's just one example.
So, do you think that the states, maybe even red states, do you think that states make it harder for black folks to own fire weapons or firearms?
When you say states, I don't believe it's the state. There are certain people that make policy, and those people that are in control that make those policies are the people that control what happens. It's our job in the black community to, number one, get educated and find out what we can and cannot do by being politically active and understanding what our rights are. You can't play the game if you don't know the rules. And we have been a people that we want to play the game, we pretend to play the game, but we don't know the rules. You ever play Monopoly and not know the rules of the game?
Nah, not
it's
hard.
no fun.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna go very far doing that.
No.
It's no fun. And you can't go very far in today's society trying to play a game when you don't know the rules. We are outmaneuvered. We've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, whichever word you want to call, when it comes to us being able to exercise our rights, our Second Amendment rights, in order to own firearms. We need to educate ourselves and find out that the Constitution is for all people. Whoever told you that it's just for one person or that person, and It was never written for blacks. That's a lie.
Well, what black folks was at the table when they wrote it? I mean, that ain't a lie, because what Negro was at the table when they wrote it? It did include black folks. Where?
Well, do a little bit more history, and this is why I talk about education.
Where?
The Revolutionary War.
Okay, Scoop. I know how many black folks fought in the Revolutionary War, and that's the reason why they won it. Is because of the Negroes that was on the front line. But I'm saying, tell me where in the Constitution, where it was wrote with that big nosed black man that was sitting at the table, where was he at?
He may not have been at the table.
Oh, okay.
But there were good people. Okay, and there are good people in this country.
Sure.
That understand that we must all work together as a nation, as a people, as Americans. We must all work together.
Daniel, where's your website so that folks that want to get black folks or people period that want to get, but especially black folks that want to get trained to conceal and carry or the process to purchase. What's your website, and how do they contact you to get involved to partake in the great training that you do? Because let me say this about you: you are extremely thorough. Okay, this man knows his guns, he knows his facts, he knows his information. He's extremely thorough. I've had other family members now go through them. They loved it because Daniel's a great teacher. So, what's your information, man?
If they go to uscca.com, okay, and they put in live training or train in person, put in the zip code of 55106, that's in St. Paul, and then click on instructors. I am Daniel Ward II. I'm one of the USCCA instructors. I've been certified through USCCA since 2018. I also am a NRA instructor, a range safety officer, and I am certified to train other instructors. So if you are interested in learning to become a firearms instructor, I can train you. I can help you get certified. I welcome the competition. The more of us that are doing this that look like us, the more of us that will be doing this, and the more of us that can participate.
Absolutely.
Being an instructor is a great way of making money, which can also set you up into a career in law enforcement.
Word. Absolutely. Well, look, I appreciate you coming on this evening, and again, we got to have you on when we have more time, because I got like a zillion questions that I got ripped through with you, and then our next guest, because you and don't stop watching. You should have started a watch party. I forgot to tell you that. Of course, start your watch party, and then because you've heard of our next guest, Maj Toure, so you and so having both of you brothers on is incredibly impactful tonight and full of action.
And I appreciate what you do. I think, just like you said, right? At the end of the day, one of the best things, at least that I personally believe, is that people understand their Second Amendment rights, because without the Second Amendment, basically none of the other amendments matter, in my opinion, because if you can't defend yourself and protect yourself, whether it's from people coming to take your things that have, the ability to do because they have firearms and power and you don't, or in worst case scenarios, when illegitimate government does things, we just want to make sure that people are armed and available and ready, and that I truly believe is what keeps the rest of our country intact, is the ability to defend ourselves. In various countries all across the world, from time honored tradition, first they take away your guns, and then they know that the population is easy to control. It's what happened in Cuba. Famously, right. Fidel Castro, he famously said, "Guns for what?" And no one was armed anymore except for the people in power. So I appreciate you for coming on, and would love to have a longer conversation for sure. I don't know the time for sure.
Absolutely. So he can tell us when to shoot and when not to shoot. When I was in class, I kept asking those questions, and Daniel knows the answer, man. He's great, man. So, man, appreciate you so much, Daniel, and we got to have you back on real soon.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. Daniel Ward, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dan.
Instructor that taught me how to kill you.
Okay, wow. Hey, you know what, Daniel? I'm I'm gonna have to come to one of your classes.
Oh, please.
I mean, I think everybody should come to your classes.
Everybody should, but you're a flunky.
Is that want to carry a legal weapon?
Yeah, you should go, but
but I'm gonna go so I can carry mine.
You'll probably flunk.
I'm gonna carry mine proudly.
Yeah, right. You probably flunk. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you, man.
Peace.
That's good.
Yeah, no, that's who taught me, and you should go. He's incredibly thorough dude throughout the process, man. And I was nervous. I can't lie to you. And I've been a gang member, but as an old man, dude, it was nerve wracking being next to folks you don't know with big guns. It's like, can they get the hell out of here?
Yeah, I honestly, I got my permit to carry. It's been almost 2 years now. I got 2 years. Yep, I went and got it. And for the longest time, I've obviously, as I've said before, I've been involved in Republican politics since 2006.
So you need a gun when you're a Republican.
Well, it's kind of like I was a little bit. I don't know. I always felt weird about it because I've been a strong believer in the Second Amendment. It's something very important to me. I went and I've shot at the range a million times. It's just that, part of me was like this responsibility of carrying every day. I don't know if I'm really ready to be at that point. And finally I was like, you know what? I need to, again, it's not that I was ever against it. I always believed in it. But I was like, I just need to take that responsibility. And since that day, there's not a day that I don't carry. And the thing that's crazy is I flew out to Washington State and something that you'll find out if you decide to go through the class and get your permit to carry is well, I'm just saying in general for other people, you find out that there's different states have different laws.
Yes,
right, and so you have to check what state you're going to.
Before you go, you need to make a call. That's right,
because even though it's a Second Amendment right, certain states they have certain rules, and you don't want to.
Well, go straight to Texas. You don't have to worry about it. Damn it, Texas or Kansas City, where I'm going.
Yeah, and with doing that, I went to Washington State, and I kind of looked at what their rules were and to see what my license kind of applied for. And I kind of was like, you know what, I'm just not gonna take it. And I felt so naked, man. Like just being out there, it's just like it felt weird not caring, And I know that when I do travel, I'll make a greater greater intent to try and really understand if I can carry and how I can carry in those states that I go to, because it's a weird feeling to not have it.
That's right. This concealed to carry. I mean, you're gonna carry it.
It's concealed and carry
in your pocket. You just gonna carry it.
Do you have it on you now?
Yeah,
right now. Pull it up.
Well, a couple of things. It is condition 1, so there is a chamber in the round.
You walk around with one in the chamber?
Yes, because otherwise you might as well be carrying around a cell phone and call it a gun.
So you would shoot your brother.
Pull your gun out, man. Pull it out on us.
Therefore,
kill him.
If I come to rob you,
AK Kumbaya, AK Boomaye, AK Boomaye.
Here's the thing.
Kill him.
So I believe in responsible gun ownership.
Kill him.
That's good.
Kill him.
That's good. He would not take a life.
I could take my weapon out. I could take out the magazine. I could take out the bullet and make sure that the gun is safe for everybody. But right now, I don't necessarily think that's the
not especially when you've been sipping on. I don't know if that's Coke and rum or something over there.
Straight cola.
Yeah, right.
So people that want to carry their guns and you want to get one, and everybody that's carrying a gun illegally, go to those classes. Go to those classes. Get you a permit where you can be carrying. You got to worry about the cops pulling you to the side. Taking your pistol, taking your KKK.
Well, I don't think you should be walking around carrying one of those. But I mean, you should get a license so that you're right. You are legal to have a legal right to. You do have a legal right to possess. So go ahead and get your permit.
That's right.
A license to carry. Permits to purchase, license to carry.
I'm gonna get me one.
Yeah, because in Minnesota, when
you don't have to conceal and carry here though.
Yeah, so in Minnesota, you don't actually need to have a permit to carry if you want to buy a gun. But in Minnesota, it doubles. So when you go to buy a firearm in the state of Minnesota, you have to, if you're going to go to Fleet Farm or you're going to go wherever you're going to buy it, you have to get a permit to purchase. And so that that process can take a week to get the permit to purchase. And so if you get a permit to carry, it also counts as a permit to purchase. So you'll be able to, when you have a permit to carry, you just go in, and when you go to buy your firearm, they do a little federal background check, which that's the big thing that people don't know, that haven't ever purchased a firearm. You don't just walk up and they say, "Yep, here's your gun." But it does help with that process. It's a lot easier. So a lot of folks that are going to buy more than one firearm will typically get their permit to carry, even if they decide not to carry. And in Minnesota, certain weapons you can open carry. So that's an interesting thing about Minnesota.
Yes, well, I heard you mention to him that before we bring in Maj, I heard you mention about how people, I'm sure you were hinting at Democrats talking about taking away weapons and all of that. And what I have yet to hear or see from you or any other Republican is a Democrat that has taken away, that has championed a law that takes away guns from any
Did you
person.
not just hear Joe Biden?
Yeah, I want to say, Joe Biden running around here to
did Joe say we are taking the guns away from law-abiding citizens? Or did Joe say that he wanted to protect those rights for those that can carry legally and get rid of making the guns readily accessible for criminals?
What Joe Biden said is, what do you need to carry? 20, 30, 40 rounds, 100 rounds.
What do you need to carry that for?
20 rounds, man. 20 rounds.
But Secret Service carrying 20 rounds to protect
most rifles are going to carry 20 to 30 rounds.
You don't need. Don't pull that hunting crap either, because you tear the damn meat up.
I think the idea of just when people bastardize the Second Amendment and say, "Oh, it's for hunting," no, it's not. It's meant for protection, defense. Why would you need more than 20 rounds? Because the person that is coming for you has 30.
Oh yeah, you're
because
right.
the people that are coming,
some crazy white dude up in Hugo.
No
Negroes around. No Negroes in the hood have 30 rounds.
I think these capacity are crazy. But our next guest, Maj Toure, very, very happy to have him on. He's a gentleman that I first heard about a couple of years back. I got to meet him. He actually came to Minneapolis, and he did kind of like a presentation over north. And that's what Maj does. Maj goes into the black community, not like on the periphery. He goes anywhere he can go in the hood, because he really does believe in the Second Amendment, and he believes it's very important, and he'll tell us more about that. But I've been following Maj for a long time. I think he has a lot of great ideas and solutions, and I thought it'd be great to be able to bring him on the show. So thank you for joining us, Maj.
What's up, man? How y'all feeling?
Well, wait a minute.
All right, man. All right.
Cheers! Since I seen you little. Cheers,
there
damn it!
Go. Sophisticated.
Salud. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, bro. It's been a couple of years though, but welcome back to the show. Last time I seen you was in studio. Now you're looking all muscly and stuff.
Yeah, man. Trying to stay healthy and working out, and we use firearms as a last resort. If you might have to be in a fight, so you kind of got to be able to fight and be strong and or even not even a fight, just like, man, you might have to lift somebody up in a car accident and put a tourniquet on them. So we try to make sure that we stay on point, and but that's it. I appreciate y'all for having me again too.
Not especially since you all strong looking. I'm glad to have you back. I mean, their profile is everything. He's all strong. That's your new Facebook profile pic.
Right.
Maj, I don't know if you were just watching with my trainer there, and I like saying that too, right? No, gun crime across the nation is exponentially growing.
That's wrong.
No. I know you and a lot of the police chiefs in the country will say that gun crime is actually going down. Well, I'll say, come to my neighborhood and go to a few other neighborhoods across the state where I know where gun crime, especially in specific areas, has grown sometimes 2,000% from a year ago.
What's gun crime?
What do you mean what's gun crime? When one fool shoots another fool on a continual basis, and that person either repeats the crime, because guess what we found out, Maj, that a lot of the victims of the crimes here, of the gun crimes here, have been shot with a lot of the same weapons. That's what gun crime is.
So it's the same person doing this, or the same, let's say, amount of bad guys. Let's say if there's, if it's it's 4 of us in the room. Let's say I'm the bad guy. and I'm the bad guy and I do the same type of crime, I get caught after doing it 4 times with the same gun, that's getting recorded as 4 so-called gun crimes. I'm the person doing it.
Isn't that 4 different crimes though, bro? I mean, you got 3 or 4 different victims. That it's not being recorded wrong. That's how it should be recorded.
It's kind of a, I get what you're saying, but it's also a stat game. And it's regardless, the people traumatized from the ignorance don't matter. It don't matter to the families. So in that sense,
correct.
In that sense, it's right. The communities that are impacted the most by it, I don't care if it's 1 or 5 of you doing the wrong thing with a firearm. It's just like, but I think that so I'm agreeing there. The bigger picture is how that extrapolation. So my point of it being this, let's say 5 guys or the 1 guy out of 5 doing the repeat thing, they'll package that as if it's not one person doing the wrong thing, a bunch of times. They'll package it to justify why there's more of a militarized police force in our community. So it's a thin line there. But when you initially started, you said violent crime or gun crime specifically is on the rise exponentially across the country. That's statistically inaccurate. A better way of saying that is in the last year, since the amazing amounts of government overreach, violent crime in certain specific cities has risen. Over the last 20 years, violent crime in the United States has actually went down as a nation.
Yeah, that's what the Attorney General and other folks say. Yeah.
There's always outliers, though, and I don't think it's fair to ignore the outliers. And I'm only saying it not because the outliers are the rule, they are the exception. But again, when we're talking about people's lives lives and their family members that care about them are caught up in that, exception, for lack of a better term. The areas that have had those experiences or those shifts or rises in violent crime are generally areas that do not have a very good, healthy respect for safe and responsible gun ownership. What I mean by that is those are generally cities that, and again, my friends and family, a lot of my friends and family still identify as Democrat. So I don't say this to be harmful to them, but a lot of Democratic leadership it's not in alignment with the respect for Black people to keep and bear arms as stated in the Constitution of the Bill of Rights. So those are the cities that disrespect, the Second Amendment or Black people's ability to keep and bear arms to defend their life from the few bad guys doing the repeat, offenses. And on top of that, these are the same areas that have had generations of like horrible culture in regards to how they're marketing firearms ownership. We see in other areas where there's more lawful, safe. I ain't even going to say lawful. I'm going to say safe and responsible because you could be unlawful. Like I didn't have a driver's license for a very long time. I was like one of the most safe and responsible drivers ever, but I wasn't. Technically, I was driving when I so-called shouldn't have been because I didn't have a driver's license. So I'll say safe and responsible. The areas that have more safe and responsible firearms owners that have created a culture in regards to supporting that human right to keep and bear arms have notoriously lower violent crimes. So we can't ignore that. We can't ignore, just like I wouldn't ignore the outliers for friends and family members, that lost loved ones in those outliers. I can't ignore the fact that the areas that there's more of a respect for the Second Amendment and there's less of the racist practice of gun control, those areas are safer. We cannot ignore that. Like that's data. I'm talking about even before they start trying to play the stat game on whichever side, if you're on the right or if you're on the left, whatever side tries to play the stat game, there are millions annually in the millions of defensive gun usages every single year, meaning somebody uses a firearm to defend life like exponentially more than the people that use their firearms for evil or use their firearms for suicide, because 60 to 70% of those deaths annually are suicides. So I think that it's very important that we take a balanced approach in looking at this, because if not, you'll have all of the pro-gun people looking like they don't care about the deaths, right? And you'll have all of the anti-gun people pretending like they all just automatically don't care about anyone having the means to defend themselves. And usually, in my experience, most people are somewhere in the middle. The thing that we all agree on, or at least rational people in my mind, is that nobody wants more death and carnage. I don't care if it's 10 people, I don't care if it's 20 people or 200 a year. When you look at that from a statistic standpoint and say, well, that's not that much. I want to solve those too. So I think everybody kind of agrees there. But I think in order to get to that space, we just kind of got to be objective and more balanced in our approach with it.
Yeah, I got just a question. So Maj, one of the things as a guy that believes in the Second Amendment strongly, I've been carrying for personal protection for the last 2 years. But before that, you'll hear the argument, and this show, we try and keep it real, and when I hear this, right, like today, there was another homicide in Minneapolis, and we're up to 52 for the year, and 43 of them, a gun has been used. And so for me, I want to know, as someone like yourself, because you're a super real person, when the automatic narrative is, see, all these people die because of a gun, so we have a gun issue. What kind of response do you have, or what kind of response would you want to try and get people to understand of someone like me, who I believe that if everybody in North Minneapolis could responsibly and safely carry a firearm, I think you would see a dramatic culture change, and you would see crime go to the ground. But that's not popular, because people say, oh, no, and so what do you say to something like that,
I just show them the data. I just show them that, again, and not to sound repetitive, but in the last 20 years, like 20 some odd years, licenses to carry, and I want to be clear, licenses are infringements to me, but if someone's going to do it, okay, they'll go get a license. Usually a person that's going to get a license isn't the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
As those licenses to carry have increased over the last 20 years, in that same time period, violent crime has dropped. We've got more constitutional carry states. I think we're up to 19 now, than we've pretty much had since like America, since like the 70s and maybe even the 60s, 50s. It's not a gun problem. If there was a gun, there's a gun here. There is a gun here. There is a smaller gun here.
I like that.
There's some guns over there. There's a safe over there full of guns. If we had a gun problem, these guns would be getting up, floating around.
Well, look, no, see, no, wait a minute now. I love how gun owners sometimes play all Pollyanna on the bit now. I mean, let's keep it real, y'all. And you can call them outliers or what have you. It's also reality that, again, and I'll say it the way you just said it. In the last year and a half, violent gun crime is growing in particular cities. Again, we're not used to that here in Minneapolis. So to have 52 murders.
Yes, y'all are.
No, we're not. You don't live, Maj, wait a minute. You don't live here. The last time we had these amount of murders, by the summer of a year, it was when we were dubbed Murdapolis. The last time we never had back-to-back years of high gun crime years. Not in Minneapolis, it's existent.
So let's look. So you would say that currently Minneapolis falls under the definition of an outlier because it's something rare.
Absolutely.
Regard,
yes.
Right?
This high. Yeah.
Before we just go to the gun, we can't. So what happened last year? Like the government, your local, state, and federal government literally said, you can't make money. You literally shut down businesses. Suicides are up. Across the globe.
Due to COVID, absolutely, yeah.
COVID lockdown.
When there's an outlier, we gotta look at some of the extreme scenarios, because the whole time guns was there. And if we now are saying over the last year and a half to 2 years, right, around the time when we had government saying, hey, the police ain't coming. Y'all had a gang of people coming into Minneapolis, pretending like they were down with BLM or with promoting the movement.
Yes.
That didn't live there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That were burning things down.
Yes, absolutely.
Businesses destroyed.
Yeah.
I told you, man.
I told you guys. Yeah.
So these outliers, if we got an extreme case in homicides in a city that wasn't traditionally seeing that in that regard, when I said you've seen that before, I meant death. I didn't mean necessarily to that extent.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah.
So we looking at the outlier here. We're looking at suicides up across the country. We can't just go, oh, it's the gun. There's other factors there.
Yeah, no.
The police who were like pretty much Democratic government said, hey, we're not going to have a police respond. Same type of leadership, so-called leadership said, hey, we're going to let violent criminals out of jail. Same leadership said, we're not going to let you run your businesses. People are like stressed out behind this.
No doubt.
So on top of the fact that, right, North Minneapolis, you go a little bit down on what's that, Hollywood Boulevard? I can't remember. What is it?
Hennepin.
In North Minneapolis?
You cut over one little section, the energy look a little bit different. So
correct.
The hoodish part of Minneapolis wasn't something that was like in a great socioeconomic place in the first place.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And so when we look at the outlier, we got to look at, okay, what else has spiked? What else has spiked is too much government intervention. The same type of government intervention telling you what you can't do in your community. Same type of government intervention that'll say you don't have the means to defend your life lawfully. You know, I know a guy in Minneapolis, a homegirl of mine. They were really good friends. I forget the brother's name, man. He had this clothing line. He was murdered about a year or two ago in Minneapolis. And she was just like, this same thing, like this, why is this even going this direction? My point in saying that is you got to look at all of this stuff as the state. It's not racism is sanctioned by the state. You know, people not having the means to defend themselves, to shift that culture into a safe and responsible, you know how they say like an armed society is a polite society. Yeah. The state makes up rules that are in direct contradiction to the supreme law of the land, which is the Second Amendment of these United States of America. City and state governments make different rules and then the people don't want to be more open about safe and responsible gun ownership because they're getting guns and tucking them, which means they're not going to get educated. They're not going to go to the gun range. They're not going to know the basic 4 rules of firearm safety. Then in the middle of that powder keg, you have the government saying, hey, you got to close your business down. What is a dude or especially a dude that's not really on it like that mentally, right? Whether it's suicide or whether that's robberies, and robberies turn into homicides like that.
In the New York Minute.
So these are these outliers, but the answer in all of these cases is government intervention when they should just be leaving us alone. Listen, I get it in the beginning. People thought that COVID was like I did in the beginning. I was like, bet, it's a zombie apocalypse. I'm built for this shit. You know what I'm saying? But then it didn't turn into that. Okay, now we back off. Now we have government yet again for a virus, so-called virus, that has a 99 point, whatever, 98, 99% so-called survival rate. Now you're talking about, oh, we're going to do this. Meanwhile, at the CDC saying, oh, those PCR tests, the first ones were wrong. Mm-hmm. And they based all of that information off of those tests. So my point in saying that, we're leaving this up to government. And yet again, government is saying, yo, we might have to go on lockdowns again. The problem is the state. The state is the problem.
I won't disagree with you on that, whether it's Republican or Democrats. Look, we had promised not to hold you long, so I just got 2 questions I want to rip through for you. I asked Daniel the same question. Why is it important that black folks own weapons? Why is it important that they get educated on arming themselves and being able to defend themselves? Because listen, we know that black folks are conservative nature, period. And I've been around a weapon all of my life. I was shooting guns every New Year's Eve with my pops before we could, you had to get the license and shit. But why is that so important, bro, for real? Why for black folks to own weapons?
Because 1, it's your human right to do so. 2, like Black people in America, and I say this to no slight to any other ethnic group, Black people in America have been a part of the longest running social experiment in human history.
Word.
Oh,
Word.
right.
Word.
So it becomes, okay, no, I don't want a needle in my arm. I remember Tuskegee. I've read the book. I know what medical apartheid is.
So you're not vaccinated?
Fuck no.
Oh, stop. Wait a minute. Let me put my mask on. Hold on.
Not at all.
So
it's like and I'm not judging anybody that chooses to. That's how freedom go. I don't gotta agree with it.
Correct.
I just, for me and mine, I just be like, nah, I don't even buy a new iPhone when it first comes out. I'm waiting for them to figure out what they got wrong with it. Mm-hmm. There's like, and there's too much of a push in regards to the vaccine. And I'll go back to the question. There's too much of a push to make Black people take this shit. When has government actually like hooked Black people up? Like somebody like tell me when the government was like, you know what? Because if they was really trying to hook us up, let's talk about that 15 trillion for reparations. Yep. if it was really about a hookup, right? Now some people will say, well, if we gave the Blacks the money, they give it back. Cool, let us give it back.
That's right. Whatever we want to do with it. That's yeah.
Right.
You know what?
The conversation in regards to vaccination is the same reason why I believe that it's important for Black people to be armed. One, I do not trust the American government. The founding fathers to this nation, they said you should not trust government, and they was white dudes.
I mean, I don't trust white dudes either. Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yep.
So my thought process is, you may be, if you happen to live in, and if you're, a Black person, and you happen to live in a rough neighborhood, that's one reason why you should have a firearm. I mean, you should train with it to defend yourself, right? And then as more and more Black folk start becoming safe and responsible gun owners, again, you create that culture of the armed society is a polite society, right? Then the other thing is, it's rogue agents of the state that's out here that ain't just like only choking Black men to death. And I ain't even just talking about George Floyd. We can take it back to Eric Garner. We could take it to Amadou Diallo. Whichever way you want to go with it. I got a body for you for whatever, you know what I'm saying? But then I factor in, okay, I got white boys like Duncan Limp. I got people like, that were compliant, that the police came into their house and murdered them, but it doesn't just mean firearm per se. It means what's your security like? What's your hand game like? What's your cardio like? What's your all of these things? I think that it's very cavalier and very irresponsible for any American, more specifically Black American, to walk out of the house and not think about their own survival. I think that our nation's history has reflected that it's not necessary. And I'm not saying that we haven't tried to make progress, because I'm not one of those people that's like, you're a victim and you're going to be a victim forever. I don't subscribe to that ideology.
Exactly.
But I also am a student of history. So, Joe Biden is the president. Joe Biden, for damn near 50 years of his political career, has made a job out of locking Black people up.
Oh, he did not.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
Yes,
not.
he did. Yes, he
did not.
No, what?
He did
yes,
not.
he did.
Yes,
he did.
So, Maj, see,
he didn't lock
now
up.
you had to start, and the show's got to
He
end.
didn't lock up
The show's got to end in about 8 minutes. Listen, you can talk about
Tell me one thing good Joe Biden has done for Black people.
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell us one
Just
good
tell me
thing.
one.
Can you
One.
Seriously, first of all, let's talk about the pimping law that he had changed. That was aimed at getting Black women and Black men. Just Black women, and not getting the white Johns that were part of it. That's a part of it. But guess what? Wait a minute, Maj. Let me say this. I love how Black folks, like conservative Black folks, they want to talk about how he threw folks in jail instead of
he has.
Can I finish, please? Because we gotta go. He brought this up.
You avoiding the question.
No. Actually, if y'all stop and let me finish, I can answer your question. Number one is, you can't come on here. You can't sit there and talk about responsibility.
You're not answering the question.
Excuse me. You can't talk about responsibility and then not talk about the fact that, again, in certain states, you can call them outliers, where gun crime was growing, where people like me and other black folks were in full support of ridding our community of assailants that were going around committing gun crime. So if you can blame Joe Biden, no, I blame senators, I blame criminals that weren't taking responsibility, and you guys are enablers.
You're talking about the Congressional Black Caucus that got behind Joe Biden,
and I'm talking about the community black folks that got behind them too.
They didn't.
Bro, don't tell me that.
That wasn't the question.
That is
so the Congressional Black Caucus. It was only like 3 or 5 of those people.
Okay. Well, what about the folks? So you gonna tell me what my people in my community, how we didn't get together, how we weren't in full support of that?
The question that I asked you was, what?
And I'll say the crimes bill. And I'll say the crimes bill.
The crime bill.
Yes, the crimes bill.
The crime bill.
Y'all
the crimes bill
is bugging.
You know what? I'm tell you something.
The crimes bill.
Joe Biden didn't even like Clarence Thomas. He was giving him a rough time. That man is so racist.
Actually, he didn't. He was in favor for him.
He wasn't. He was not. That's not
he
true.
Called Anita.
It's not true.
What hearings did you guys watch? Man,
the ones that happened?
The ones where he bashed Anita Hill and took the side of Clarence? What are y'all talking about?
Bro.
Roll my ass. This man said Anita Hill wanted it. What do you mean?
Joe Biden was
highly inappropriate. He was highly inappropriate when it came to that.
What you're doing right now?
He was young black men, super predators.
No, first of all, show me
where the bill. He wrote that bill.
Stop, please.
For black folks. He wrote that bill.
Tell me where he said where he called black folks super predators, or did he call repeat offenders super predators? I want you and Maj and anybody else to show me the line.
I'll show you.
Please show me. Where he specifically said black and brown men are super predators. You gonna show me that?
He was talking about black and brown men.
Excuse me.
Then he said
you gonna show me where he said that?
Yeah.
Pull it up, please. Maj, I don't got long with you. We got a few minutes though. Bro, you can't come in here talking about responsibility and then say the black folks weren't behind the crimes bill, because I personally know in Texas and Minneapolis and Baltimore and Wisconsin, yes,
you just said
they
we got
were.
A few minutes and you want to let me have a perspective.
Go ahead. I'll give you I give you your last 3 minutes. I'll shut up.
So, one, Joe Biden wrote the crime bill, not even just that 80s one.
Thank you.
The later one, the one before that. On top of that, he made it where judges did not have the ability. Judges' job is to judge, to assess, to make decisions. He deliberately said, we want mandatory minimums for scenarios. We're not even talking about with guns. We're talking about dudes that nonviolent offenders that had drugs on them. He made it where judges weren't even able to evaluate the scenario to say, okay, instead of you getting 5 to 10 years, we're going to give you 6 months probation as a judge, which is what a judge's job is. Mm-hmm. Listen, there is nothing. There is no legislation that Joe Biden has crafted or been in support of.
Black people.
Same Joe Biden that gave the eulogy at Byrd, the Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard's funeral. There is nothing that he's done that has been beneficial for black people. Okay. His passive-aggressive and sarcastic and very undermining description of even Barack Obama before he picked him as his running mate was, oh, he's different. You know, he's clean. Yep. This is verbatim his words. Joe Biden has not been good for black people. Exactly. And this is why it's not a coincidence that the work that we've done at Black Guns Matter over the last 5 years, we had a stated purpose, making black people be the newest, biggest gun buying demographic in America. We achieved that in March of 2019. Yep. Now, as soon as Joe Biden's in president, we all in this room agree that gun control is racist. Who has pushed more gun control, especially in becoming the president?
Biden. Well,
it's been Joe Biden.
I think
he's targeting black and brown people with that. And we ain't even got to say what he coulda, woulda, shoulda, or even assume. The outcomes of gun control in this nation means nonviolent black and brown men have been incarcerated more than anyone else, which is the outcome that's right in alignment with the original reason for gun control in the first place. We're going to lock them black people up for exercising what we as a nation say is their human right to keep and bear arms. So we're going to contradict our own Constitution and Bill of Rights. We're going to lock black men up, take them from their families, Then we're going to highlight people that did that and crafted legislation and pretend like they're actually for black people. Stop it.
Know what? That is. I mean, shit. You amazing. I mean, God, you hit it up on the trip. And do you know is that Biden did say he regretted for writing that first crime bill. You hear what he said? That I mean, he went on. He admitted it. He admitted. Then what you said about the COVID, you just like me. Everybody running their asses down. They couldn't put that needle in their arm because the government said they have to take the shot, and they running down there because they afraid they gonna die.
It's not Biden's fault of how racist government in certain states, what you just said, interpreted and implemented that law. It's not President Biden's fault.
Jamar's
and secondly,
a Biden apology.
No, it certainly is not.
It
certainly is not. It's not. It certainly is not how racist laws, how
the
racist
reason why
judges
police is
and
beating
racist
down
governments
people
intended
because
it.
of the cause of Joe Biden.
And secondly,
and then everybody
folks that have contracted COVID that don't want to go get the shot are fucking idiots.
No, I know they ain't.
And are the reason why most of us are dying now because they sick asses won't go get the shot and want to continue blowing their breath and not washing their dirty hands and coming around me and my family and me and my community.
What you trying to get sponsored by Bill Gates and them?
No, I tried that already.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
I can't take anything you saying serious.
Hey, but
I'm a Cowboys fan.
You know what?
Well,
I'm a Cowboys fan.
This man a Philly? A Phillies fan, Philadelphia Eagles fan. Are you serious?
Yo, when was y'all last championship? I'm gonna get my VHS tapes out.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, guess what? How many times did we beat you guys last year? Oh,
would you? Oh. And y'all was winning last year.
Okay. And we had a hell of a team, but how many times did we beat you guys last year? Oh, okay.
Hey, you know what? I thank God. Have you took the COVID shot? You had the shot too?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's had the shot.
Oh, you see what I'm saying? See, all of them giving in to what the government says.
We want to live.
See, now the government saying
I didn't do it because I felt I had to. I did it because personally,
because the government told you.
I like the science of the mRNA. I'm one of those brothers that
listen to the government.
When I hear about science, I'm like, listen, I got a lot of medical conditions, all right? So I was
they've been messing with the data.
Worst case scenario.
Now, I agree. Again, my position is freedom. If you want to take it, if you want to wear a mask, cool.
That's you.
Morally and freedom based, I go cool. Everyone's free to do whatever they want with their body, right? The question that I have is when you say the mRNA, we are understanding that this experimental,
it's not approved, right?
Yeah.
Non-approved mRNA,
but I'm down. Yeah, and I completely concede to that, and I agree with that.
You got the measles, mumps, and all that rebellion every year, and you guys are okay with.
I don't get those either.
You did get them at one time in your life until you became an adult. Your mama never got them for you?
As a child,
exactly.
When somebody else was in control of my body.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
I drink plenty of water.
That's right.
I'm a child of the sun. I get in the sun. And I'm not saying there's no modern medicine that can't be beneficial for us. I'm not saying that either. But when it comes to vaccines, I'm not a fan. In a different place. And if I get a toothache, I'm going to use drugs. So I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, I don't buy a new iPhone because y'all haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah,
it just seems like if you want to be a part of that experiment, because that's what it is, be a part of it. If not, all I ask is the same thing with guns. If you're my friend and you're anti-gun, I'll respect your right to not have a firearm because you don't want to. All I ask is you respect my right to have one because I do want to.
We do.
Same thing with COVID. You want to take the vaccine, Pfizer. The information's out there. You choose to take it, cool. I'm going to respect you the same way. I'm not wearing a mask. I'll ask if you got your vaccine and you believe in it. And if you got a mask, there's no worrying about what I did or didn't do. You good, right?
Just stay your sick, gun-toting ass away from me, okay? That's all. No, listen, Maj, man, you got to come on and stay a whole friggin' hour.
Yeah, man, we got to have you on for an hour. That'd be awesome. I just want to say one last thing. I know that you are big into solutions, right? Like it's one thing to come out and you talk about this, or I know that you're not a person and you're not trying to own the libs or whatever. That's not the game that you play. You're about solutions. I know that you have a summit that's going to be coming up in September, right? Solutionary Summit. So I think if folks head to solutionarylifestyle.org, they'll be able to find out more about your upcoming summit and actually get together with people that actually want to put together solutions to some of these issues that we got going on. And one last thing, I appreciate you coming on so much. My biggest aspect, because I'm a guy that believes in freedom too. I'll never tell someone what they should or shouldn't do. I always even tell folks, talk to your doctor, come up with a decision that makes the most sense for you. But at the end of the day, live your life, be free, man. Live your life and be free. But thank you so much, Maj, for being on, my friend.
All right,
AK.
AK.
And listen, man, y'all invite, man. Come do some media. Come. Today we had Kwame Brown confirmed for the Solutionary Summit.
Seriously?
We got
the rapper?
5'9". We got Angela Stanton King. We got Larry Sharp. So basically we got Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, Republicans, just figuring out ways that we can come up with solutions together. There's a rumor that Ice Cube might pop in. That's all Dr. Voices.
That'd be awesome if he did. That'd be dope.
Yeah. Invite us. So, I'll bring my big mouth.
All right, AK, take us out.
I'll bring Maj, man, for real. And give his website one more time.
Yep. So it's solutionarylifestyle.org.
Yep.
Appreciate you, Maj, man. Please come on and spend a whole hour with us next time.
Absolutely. I got y'all.
Thank
Appreciate
you, bro.
y'all.
All right.
Saloon.
Take us out, AK.
Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. We're a little bit long, but make sure you head over to anchor.fm/BRBD. Check out our podcast. Go ahead and head over to patreon.com/BRBD. Donate whatever you think.
Hey!
Have a great week.
Hey!
I'm AK Kamara.
I'm John Martin.
And I used to be Jamar Nelson.
Visit the mobile market. That's right. I love
Take 'em
my
back.
hosts. My two co-hosts. I love my two co-hosts. Hey, where y'all going? Where y'all leaving for? Where you going, AK? Hey, where you going? Where y'all going? I guess. Hey! See y'all next week. That brother was